This is the consequences when we chose the wrong direction. Oh my God. Yes. It is what it is. Make America great. Yeah, low prices.
This is breaking news. Texas farmers are sounding the alarm on this tariff war. And in more breaking news, nobody cares. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me or maybe it's some of you too, but as far as farmers sounding the alarm, I don't care. I have to admit, I don't care at all, because the last time Donald Trump was president, 100,000 farmers across the country lost their farms. Yeah. So overwhelmingly, farmers voted for this man again, knowing full well of his history the last time he was president. So from me to you, farmers, I don't care. I don't care how bad things get for you. I don't care if you lose your farm. I don't care if you, I don't care. At least I don't care to hear about it. I really don't. Because this is exactly what you voted for. And you're going to get what you voted for. You're going to get 4 more years of Donald Trump not giving a damn about farmers whatsoever. So, enjoy.
It's Joe from Georgia. So this is news out of Texas. But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States. And our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all, and that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculously high or you just won't have any food to buy.
Immigrant farm workers are not showing up on farms in the Rio Grande Valley in Texas, Florida, and California. In Texas, in particular, in the Rio Grande Valley, they produce many crops needed around the country, such as grapefruit, corn, citrus, oranges, all the vegetables, tomatoes, carrots, cabbage, onions are all grown here. And guess what? The undocumented workers are not showing up there. They're not showing up here in Florida, and they're not showing up in California. Now, I can hear you all say, you don't care, you're glad they're getting them. They're breaking the law, number one. They are criminals. They're not criminals. They are violating a civil violation, which is a fine or a penalty. It is not criminal, unlike the felon in the White House. That's a criminal. You will be complaining when you see no fruit, vegetables, and other crops in our grocery stores to eat. You will care when you see the prices escalate even higher. Isn't that the reason y'all supposedly voted for Trump? Because he was going to bring the prices down, and y'all could only complain and complain about everything under Biden. I don't hear y'all complaining about these out of control prices anymore that we continue to see everywhere thanks to Donald Trump. And all the prices that we've seen go up because of the trade deals or no trade deals and the tariffs. Well, guess what? These prices are going up. Thank you, Donald Trump, you and Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is such a genius. You know, he is the whole reason that we're having this whole problem, because he is so anti-immigrant. And by the way, his family came from Europe. They were persecuted as immigrants. And Elon, oops, did I say Elon? I did say Elon. Elon, how do you like hanging out with Stephen's wife? What do you think? Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. What do you all think? Only going to cost us more money, and to accomplish what? This is not a solution. It is the problem. Donald Trump and Stephen Miller are the problem. Hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. Let me know what you think. You like these higher prices and the food shortages you're going to see if this continues, and it's going to continue. They're not going to show up. And I'm going to talk about ICE in another video.
So Texas farms don't have no workers? I like salad, y'all. I mean, what we gonna do? I'm not going out there. Y'all should have left them folks alone. Now look at us. We already overweight, out of shape, high blood pressure. Now we ain't got no vegetables. I am just waiting on MAGA to report to the fields. It's your turn.
And there's reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up, and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers. So not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste if there's nobody picking these crops when they're ready to be picked. I hope MAGA likes a diet of strictly processed foods.
Farms in deep red Texas are shut down, and Donald Trump is the reason. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has shifted ICE from focusing on criminal immigrants to going after easier targets such as job sites to pump his numbers up. But farms are hurting because of this, as many of their workers are either being deported or not showing up for fear of being caught up in these raids. And because of this, they're essentially shut down and no work can be done. Just take a listen to one farmer.
3 weeks it started to slow, but this last week or so has been huge. That's when it's like 0 people wanting to come out. And
yeah, 0 people going to work the farms. And while yes, these farmers are in the find out phase, we're all going to be in it, because they're talking that our food supply is going to be shut down or have major interruptions. And it's not just Texas, it's California and Washington. We are finding out that yes, immigrants do help the American economy. Immigrants are part of the American fabric. We just didn't realize it till it was too late.
Contrary to popular belief and whatever condescending fairy tales you may have been spoon-fed, you can in fact mess with Texas. The bumper sticker was always more slogan than law, really. A swaggering bluff shouted over Lone Star beer and barbecue smoke. And now it has been revealed as nothing but a cheap shot of bravado. Because when the orange bronze devil made a phone call, every last one of these blithering Republican idiots came crawling on hands and knees. They won't fight, they won't resist, they won't even feign independence. They'll just kiss the ring and whatever else they're told to kiss, then strut back to Austin calling it victory for the Republic. On August 20th, the Texas House passed a new set of gerrymandered redistricting maps, 88 to 52. Handing Republicans an artificial advantage in 5 Democratic-leaning districts. Democrats fled the state, breaking quorum in an attempt to block the bill. It was their Alamo, their last stand in defense of the people's right to vote. But the gavel still fell and the maps went through. Not governance, conquest. And this is where the hypocrisy cuts deepest. For a century, Texas sold itself as the line in the sand. Remember the Alamo. Remember Goliad. Remember the ranchers who stood against the heavy hand of Washington. This is supposed to be the state that spit in the eye of federal overreach, the state that bragged it could be its own country, the state that prided itself on independence and fire. But all of that was just theater, because when Trump wags his fingers, the mighty cowboys of Texas crawl to him like beggars. They've proved that the only thing bigger in Texas is the bullshit. And here's the question that should really haunt every Texan with a shred of pride left. How did the Don't Mess with Texas crowd become the most obedient lapdogs in America? How did the state that prided itself on standing tall become the state that kneels first and longest? Was all that talk about independence and honor just bullshit for the tourists? A carnival act for campaign ads? Because when the moment came to prove it, Texas Republicans folded like a paper sack. The Democrats who fled to break quorum may have been mocked, but history will remember them as the only ones in the room with the guts to fight. They tried to hold the line. They tried to honor the people who elected them. They tried to shout that Texas is not for sale. And though they lost, they still stood taller than the cowards who crawled. So yes, you can in fact mess with Texas. And the proof of that is that Texas Republicans are doing it for themselves, gleefully, shamelessly, and on command. They've sold the soul and legacy of Texas to a New York City con man who's never cared for the state and never will. And remember that, Texas. Remember it when you vote. Remember it when you see these puffed up men in their boots and their hats pretending to carry the soul of the place. Because they don't. They've already traded it away. They betrayed Texas. They are not cowboys. They are not rebels. They are Trump's little boys. All hat, no cattle. Governable cowards who sold Texas for a wink from a slick city boy that's living off of daddy's money. And that is a shame they should never be allowed to outlive. And when the dust settles, remember this too. Individual liberty was supposed to be the cornerstone of Texas. That was the creed carved into the stone, the anthem sung from every porch and pasture. And it wasn't Greg Abbott who carried that torch. It wasn't the hollow speaker Dustin Burrows or the Republican bootlickers drawing lines in secret. It was the Democrats who walked out. The ones who broke quorum, who gave the state the stiff backbones it was promised. That is the most Texas thing I've ever seen. Not kneeling, not cowering, not begging for scraps from a gilded table, but standing tall in the face of power and saying no. A middle finger to the establishment and the goddamn governor. That's the cowboy shit right there. That's the spirit that built the place. That's the defiance Texas pretends to own but is long since forgotten. So if you want badasses, don't look at Greg Abbott. Don't look at his yes men in boots and cheap suits. Look at Ann Johnson and Nicole Collier and James Tallarico and John Busey. Men and women who stood their ground. They are the legacy, plain and simple. They're the ones worthy of the cowboy myth because they didn't bow. They didn't crawl and they didn't sell. Defiance till death.
Hi guys, welcome back once again. I hope you have watched the full combination of the clip whereby you have seen how these Texas farmers, they are really struggling. They are the one who voted for this, they are the one who voted for this new administration. They are the one who voted for deportation of immigrants and they voted them all out, and now the foods, they are just rotting in their farms. They are losing their farms, they are going bankrupt. They are really coming out begging black people for help, but black people, they said this is the consequences of maybe voting out of hatred and voting out of racism. And now they are now realizing how racism is so expensive because these people really voted out of their own interest. If they could not vote without being racist or without hating one another, at least America could be greater once again. But right now these people are really struggling. They are really crying out for help, so that they just want some people to come and help them in their farms, to a point whereby they are now convincing and calling out Trump to stop deporting of immigrants and to return those immigrants that were being deported back to America, because there's no anyone to work in their farms, because they have realized without this immigrant, America is not great again. Without black people, they can't be able to survive. Without this combination of other races, because these people, they vote for this new administration and they thought this new administration will just affect other races, more so especially it will affect black people and other races. But right now we are seeing how this new administration is just affecting everyone that is living in America. Right now some people really came out in line up and said that America for now is only for billionaires and millionaires. We have all seen how Trump tariff is really affecting Texas farmers and farmers across all over America. We have all seen how the cost of living, it has really risen up to an extent whereby there are some people who have really come out in large number and they're saying they can't even afford basic needs. Reason why? Due to the cost of living, how it has risen up. We have all seen there are other white people who have really come out and said that earlier on they were paying like one bedroom apartment, they were paying like $1,200, $1,000, but right now it has been expanded and it has been increased to like $2,000. they are now struggling and seeing how life it has been so much expensive, and this is the reason of these people voting out of hatred and racism. And now they are starting to realize how racism is so expensive. They are now calling out black people to go and help them in the farm, but black people, they are really coming out and telling them go and call the other MAGA supporters to come and help you. Go, or either go and call your families, because we really warned you, but you couldn't listen to us. You could not listen to us. And this is the consequence of not listening to us, because this is the third time these people are voting for President Donald Trump. And if they can be given another chance, somebody said that if they can be given another chance, they can also still vote for President Donald Trump. But earlier on, we do remember the first time when they voted for President Donald Trump, like around 1,000 or 1,200,000 farmers lost their farms, and still they went ahead and voted for him. And now they are seeing the bad idea of voting for President Donald Trump. And other people really came out and said that if these people, they can be given another chance to vote for President Donald Trump, they will still vote for him for the first time, because it's like they don't listen, or they don't maybe listen to black people, or they don't listen to what people they really want, or they don't learn from their lessons. Right now, the government, this new administration, it's really affecting everyone. It's not like they're affecting only black people or other races. It's affecting everyone. If you go to a supermarket to buy a product, or to grocery, you buy anything, the price that is in that product, any person that go to that person, whether you are white, whether you are black, whether you are a Latino, whether you are a Mexican, you will pay the same price. So these people really thought that this new administration will affect other people, but right now it's really affecting everyone that's living in America. And right now they're saying that American dream is no more, because of how the cost of living it has really risen up, because of how these farmers, they are really going bankrupt, because of how they are losing their farms, because of how they even can't they can't even afford basic needs. And this, maybe, what can we call it, is this instant karma or what? Because if you can vote out of hatred without considering your own brother, look at who are being punished. So guys, we really hope things could be better. We really hope these Texas farmers, the government could listen to their problems and they can solve them. If it's Trump tariff, maybe it will reduce them. And we really hope things will be better, because grocery products, they have really risen up, and cost of living, it has really risen up. We really hope things will be better, so that at least these people can be able to afford, or America could be greater once again. So guys, this video is only for educational purpose, and if it was for the first time you are coming across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you whenever you are. One love.